I wanted to make a video for a lot of different reasons. One of them today is a matter of perspective. And recently I did a couple things and I made a couple pieces of content, and I've gotten a few interesting reactions. Now, I live an interesting life just because I have a very large perspective. Now, I have around, at least, I have 6 siblings, and a ton of, nieces and nephews, cousins I've never even met before. That's how many I have, and that expands in multiple countries, at least 4 or 5 different countries. So I have a wealth of different perspectives. I find myself in a very interesting position because I work in a professional field here in Canada where things are done a certain way, and in other places they're done other ways. So I've always gotten this duality, this 2 perspective, multiple, actually 60 different perspectives of almost everything. So I wanted to make this video especially because recently I've gotten some interesting, not just backlash, but also just communication and other people, just a lot of confusion about things. So I just wanted to kind of put my voice out there and say a couple things. I want to start off by this message by saying that I want you to think of this. I want you to think of, it's really helped me when it came to changing perspectives and understanding different perspectives, because I do believe that the world right now is going through an interesting phase where there's a lot of division happening, and it's not just happening within families, it's happening within countries, it's happening within religions, pretty much within everything, and now it's happening also within my own family. Well, I'm not going to let it, but it's teetering on that brink of potentially causing some bad vibes or some rubbing me the wrong way or whatever. And I've always found that interesting. I really kept up with American politics a lot when Trump and Biden were in there, and I found that whole thing very, very interesting, where I was watching from this side and I was watching from that side, and I was like, whoa, like both perspectives have like something interesting to say, whether you're that left or whether you're right or whether you're in the middle. And I've always been in the middle about everything, because I believe that they almost need each other, just as hot needs cold for it to kind of exist. But anyways, we'll dive into that another time. But the perspective I really want to give is very, very simple, and I've used this before. But the number 6, right? If I were to draw the number 6 here right in front of me, I see it clearly as a 6, right? But from your perspective, you'll see it as a 9, right? And then if you really think about that whole thing, where if you wanted to see it from my perspective, you literally have to come over here. But until you come over to my perspective and wear my shoes and sit where I'm standing in time and space, you'll never understand, or you'll never really see that 9. You'll never really see my 6. You'll always see that 9. So it's almost like I literally physically and almost metaphorically have to move and shift my perspective and shift my mind a little bit, even though it's really hard to do for some people. Some people, like, metaphorically and physically can't walk and see that perspective because there's just something's blocking them, so they have to get around that thing just to come and see the perspective. But a lot of the times, really what we have to do is just kind of come over and see that oh wow, it's a number. Oh my God, we're looking at the same thing. We're looking at a number. It has a value. It has a maybe numerical value as well. Like there's so many different things about this number that you find is right for you, and this is what I find right for me based on where I'm standing and where I'm sitting. This is what I see, and from where you're sitting, that's what you see. So how can we look at each other and say, no, for sure, my 6 is it's definitely a 6 for sure. But if I just listen to what you were saying, for sure to you that's a 9. Okay, so I'm sorry for simplifying that in a way where it's like a duh, but it just seems like we have such a complicated perspective of things that sometimes we need to simplify things to that type of degree, because to understand each other, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to understand that people that want certain restrictions, they're trying to protect people. Like, they're not trying to do it for nefarious reasons, they're trying to help people. So for us to call them something like the word sheep is almost disrespectful, because they're trying to save you as well, and they're trying to help you as well. Now, the other side, where they might value, their value might be a theory they learned, or a piece of information that isn't put in the media. So what they want to do is they want to spread that information. So what do we do when those people are trying to spread their information? They might not have a science degree. They might not know how to present certain information. Who knows? They might be a worker. They might be a construction person. They might be whatever. How do we blame them for just at least caring enough to want to share certain information? Now, if you know somebody that's sharing information just to make themselves look good because they're trying to shed information and like, you know, give you thing that you might not even heard of, because I know people that get off on that a little bit, where they'll give you a perspective and they'll feel so good that you've never heard it before, and I can see it in their eyes where they like that. So that's a very dangerous place to be in. Like, you have to find out what you're genuine about. But what I've found is that both sides, whether you want restrictions, whether you don't want restrictions, they're battling each other. I mean, that's the problem, is the battling. Whether you were from America, whether you're from the left or the right, look at the battle that it caused and look at the division that it caused. Do we also want that here in Canada, and not just in our Canada, in our own neighborhoods, but also in our own families? So instead of, you know, reclusing and going back, I dove deeper. I dove deeper into the feeling I got after posting, and after people's perspective started to come, it came into my family, and then the division I'm seeing it already starting, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. We can all strive to understand the love that one side is trying to portray and the love that the other side is portraying, and at the end of the day, they both want love and they both want the same thing, but maybe our perspective of those people needs to change a little bit because they care, and so do they. Right? And we can stand from this perspective and observe, and we can watch, and we can like maybe look into that perspective. If you don't believe that, oh, these things are not good for you, or they are good for you, okay, do more research into it. Don't find it enough to just sit around and kind of like, oh, I'm good with what I know and I'm not going to take the other perspective. That is not intellect. That is not intelligent human beings. An intelligent human being takes all perspectives and decides based on what they have as a rational person, as a thinker of themselves. They use their wisdom, their past experience. That's why, you know, we have to start listening to some people that have a little bit more experience in life. But at the same time, like, you know, the access to information is there. It really is. But now it's like there's so much misinformation. There's so much good information. It's like the Aldous Huxley idea, where, you know, we're going to be living in a time where information is drowned in a sea of irrelevance. Right? We always thought that it was going to be an Orwellian style of whatever, but it seems to be more that we love our desires, and that's the thing that's actually taking us over, which is the Brave New World book of Aldous Huxley, which I find very interesting. So the more I read about this, the more I'm seeing people falling into the trap, or the traps that have been laid to us by external forces. And it's like, man, like at the end of the day, I want to see my family, and I want to see everybody healthy, and I want to see everybody happy. Don't you? I want to be, my family came here 30 years ago. My family wanted to come to a free country with no war and no issues. And yeah, we like that there's police around to kind of protect everything, and that other countries don't have that. But if you never went there, you never understand that some police are an important factor. So you see what I mean? Like, and some people lived through communism. Some people lived through a whole bunch of really bad, oppressive times. But yet, you know, when we learn it in history books, we learn it in a certain way, or they might not actually embrace it. Like, how many people know about the Palestine and Israel issue? Like, that's like a whole separate thing, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But the concept is, like, sometimes we're not taught these things. Sometimes we're not taught about virology. We're not taught about immunology. Like, maybe we should be teaching our kids that. You know what I mean? So anyways, I wanted to make this video about being in the middle, having the heart at least to see another perspective. And I find that that's the solution in my mind. That's why I found peace. That's why I feel confident to make these videos. That's why I feel okay about everything, and I don't have any regrets about what I do. But I just want to share my knowledge of actually, like, how I find that peace. And that peace is understanding the yin and the yang. And if you don't understand the yin and the yang, then you're only seeing one side of the pie, and that's just not how life works. Life is not just the external world. The external world is simply the internal projected onto the out. And there's so many different ways to actually prove that and go into that. But what I want to end this kind of message with is my take on what we should be doing almost in a society that emphasizes, you know, working on, it's almost like a reactive way of thinking of health instead of a proactive way of working at health. And the proactive way of looking at health would almost be just to, in my mind, I know this is going to sound absolutely crazy to a lot of people, but if the LCBO is open, weed stores are open, those are essential to alcohol, to people that drink alcohol. Yeah, to the alcoholic, to the people that have once in a while drinks or whatever. It's fun for them. They're at home doing nothing. Sure, you want to smoke some? Okay, fine. We call that essential. But to other people, they don't do that. So to other people, they need maybe the gym, or maybe they need certain things from Walmart that they can't get now, like a toaster and all these things. So they're just confused as to like why that some things are, you know, weighed out more than the other things. And then when we talk about like the very sensitive issue about death, you know, there's some people that I know on a personal level that have been affected by this stuff. And then I hear in the media that there are people that are dying in this way and in that way. And then the news is only emphasizing these people, but not these people. And I'm like, wait, I care about everybody. I want to make content for everybody. I want to help everybody. So wait, can't we spread some more knowledge about this? And can't we spread more knowledge about this? And can we have a more cohesive kind of thing? Oh, but wait. Division. We want red, we want blue, we want yes, we want no. Oh man. I mean, if you watch the American politics, don't you understand that, I tried to understand that they probably need each other. The left needs the right. Like, otherwise they're never going to get anything done. That's why I truly believe in it. And I've always said this, that science needs spirituality in order for it to actually, like, both of them need each other to actually excel. And if they keep in their lanes and they stay divided, have fun with that. I don't want to live in a world that everything is divided and we're all like, you know, and now we're so divided that we're in our own homes and now you probably think that I'm a certain way or this person thinks a certain way, whatever. My message to you is love, and we can prevail and we can overcome, but we have to do it together, and we have to start having more discussions. We have to have more conversations. And we can't be afraid to voice maybe my opinion about something, you know, but even though it's not fully the fact, it's just my opinion. If we state it that way, if we say, hey, this is just my opinion on things, it's coming from a place of this, you know what I mean? And then maybe the other person that you're talking to, or maybe the other person that you are listening to could have a perspective that actually might help you. But if you're like this, and you're like, yeah, I'm only gonna let in a little bit, but I'm closed off, you're looking at life through a lens that you chose and you prefer, but it may not be the vast perspective of everything. Just like we only see 7 colors, or what is it, Roy G. Biv, right? We only see those 7 colors. Does that mean that that's the only light in the spectrum of light? Absolutely not. There's gamma, there's X-ray, there's infrared, all these things you cannot see. So if somebody said, yeah, for sure, the rainbow is all that there is in terms of light. Light transmit in a very different way, in a very interesting way, and it's very vast, and that's where our minds need to start thinking of. Our minds can be this malleable kind of thing, but it's also holographic in the sense that it's got so much light, and light is knowledge, right? And if you're only like one beam of light, I'm only a white light. I'm just a beam of white light. Well, if you take a prism, even you take that white light and you hit it in the prism, go look at the Pink Floyd logo. It turns into all the colors, right? Like we are inherently one color spread into many colors, and that's how I look at perspectives, and that's how I look at the world right now. Is that I don't just look at what the medical people are saying. I don't just look at what these other people are saying. I try to look at all of it and what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and I try to stay in my lane. I try my hardest to stay in my lane because, hey, I'm a physical therapist, but before that I was a life coach. Before that I was doing a whole bunch of things. I was an athlete, and I tried to stay in my lane. But because of all these experiences, I realized that, you know, I have an interesting way of deciphering information, and that's something that we're lacking. Is the way it's not like we have an issue with information these days. I find the opposite of that. I find we have too much information, way too much information that people cannot decide anymore. And like yesterday, I went on Google and I tried to look up misinformation about certain things. I tried to, and I honestly couldn't find a lot. And I'm like, wait a minute, but like, you know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I did look into these things and they were everywhere. So I'm like, wait a minute, like things are getting deleted on purpose. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe for a good reason. You might believe it's for a good reason, and I might believe it isn't. But, you know, I believe in freedom of speech because I come from a place where they want to be, you know, oppressive in certain ways of media or certain ways of lifestyle. So I've never wanted to be in an oppressed state. I've always wanted to have a voice. I've always wanted to be heard. I've always wanted to be respected, especially for my mind and for my heart and for my soul. I wanted that to come out, and that's what I'm doing with making these videos and making this content. It's super important for me to just embrace the idea that we are all one and that we can get through things together. But if we act like we're individually by ourselves, that's going to be a hard road, because I've tried opening businesses, I've tried playing on teams, I've tried doing everything with just myself, and it's a lot harder of a road, I find. But I'm pretty sure I'm done with this message. But I just want to say, if anybody has an issue with anything that I post or anything that I say, I am willing to discuss. I'm willing to have that conversation. And that's really why I'm doing this whole thing, just to give a level of perspective, because there's a lot of people right now that are trying to choose a side. And I think that might be a very risky thing, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and we should be kind of sharing that and understanding each other at that level, because we're all going through the exact same thing. We're going through the exact same thing. Like, I don't know if you think that you're going through something and I'm going through something. I mean, it's different in the sense that maybe who you're living with and where you are right now currently, but we're going through the same type of thing. We're all getting our same information from almost the same sources. We're eating similar foods. It's all kind of the same. But, you know, to end this video, I want to say where we're headed could be something that not all of us want. So start thinking about the foresight, not just the hindsight. And other countries have gone through this before, this whole thing that we're doing right here, and other countries are doing that. But Ontario and Canada specifically, the way that we're dealing with things is a very interesting way, and I would love to share that information. I'd love to get more information. Honestly, I'm trying to empower as many people as possible. That's the reason why I'm making this content, is to empower you, empower myself, to just have a little bit more, you know what I mean? So thanks for watching. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, then yeah, click like if you want to, subscribe, and bell notification, whatever that means. So thanks for listening, and thank you for watching till the end. I love you, and just, we're in this together.